Hey beautiful, how you doing tonight? Welcome back to Lucky After Dark. And let's just get going with this one because I have actually this is the reason why I started a YouTube channel from the get-go. I know that I want to promote my prison diaries. I've been sharing my prison diaries. I really wanted to share my story and all of this stuff. But truth be told, the initial reason that I started a YouTube channel is for this topic right here. What are men really like towards gay guys in prison? It is something that is so incorrectly, you know, delivered to the mass population. Everybody thinks, because I even see it in comments of videos that I've made like previously before I started doing all my prison diaries and stuff. I used to talk about videos like these, and I've seen comments where people, they think that I'm lying. Why in the hell would I lie about what I experienced? I'm just as shocked as anybody else. A lot of people believe that gay people are just mistreated in prison or just completely bullied or picked on, abused, whatever. But that is a lie. Yours truly is 100% gay. I have always been gay. I'm very comfortable with being gay. I love men. I love the male body. I have been addicted to it, attracted to it for as long as I can remember. My first crush was on a boy, Stephen B, we'll just say. He was a white boy with a bowl cut, haircut, played baseball, 5th grade, 5 years old. I had a crush on this boy, and he could tell because he actually grabbed my butt one time in the playground. 5 years old in kindergarten. I've always been gay, okay? So that's number one. Number two, I've been to prison. Sadly, I wish I hadn't because it's ruined my life. I'm forever a convict. I cannot get rid of that. I'm judged because I'm a convict. I feel uncomfortable now around regular people because everybody else is normal, and I, as normal as I may act, I'm a convict. I'm a felon. I'm from prison. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Well, what does that say about him? What does that say about you? So I have no reason to lie about the experience that I had in there. I have all my, I look the exact same way that I did when I went in. I have no scars. I was about to say I have all my beauty, honey. I got all my beauty, honey. I got all my teeth. I am not missing no eyeballs. I don't have no scars. I'm good, okay? So there is nothing to lie about. There are two types of guys that I met in prison. Period. I've said this a million times on my channel. All I'm going to do is just elaborate a little bit more on this. I did meet guys that they don't want nothing to do with the homosexuals. So for the people who have commented like, oh, my brother's is locked up and I know that he would never touch any homosexual. I've had a couple of girlfriends come on here and I guess feel insecure and all of this stuff. Chances are you're right. You're telling the truth. Yeah. Your brother, your boyfriend, or whoever it is that you're concerned about, they probably are not talking to any homosexuals. They probably want nothing to do with them. Although I will admit that there were plenty, well, let me not make y'all all nervous, but there was a handful of guys that did come at me and they had somebody on the outside. And trust me, I deal with that now too because I'm very insecure. I have Cam in there. Like, I'm nervous that Cam be doing the most with this person and that person. My baby is fine. Cam is hot and I can't wait to get his ass out so this way I have him back in my clutches, and then also y'all can see for yourself how beautiful this man is. Like, I already know that I'm gonna have to be keyboard arguing with y'all all the time, talk about get your motherfucking eyes off my man, stop looking at my man, get that comment out of here. I'm gonna be blocking y'all and everything because I know that he's beautiful. Cam is so beautiful and he's sweet and sensitive and nice, and he's got that deep, voice. Like, oh my God, he is just perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect. I tell him that all the time. And he thinks I'm silly as hell because he loves me. He thinks the same about me. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think that he is way more beautiful than me. But anyway, nevertheless, I do worry about the fact that he's in there. He could be doing the most. And how in the world would I know? You know, I just have to go off of trust. So for those of y'all that have left me comments like that of wondering what, you know, your brother's doing or your boyfriend's doing or whatever, you just gonna have to do like me, girl, and just have some trust, okay? That they are being true to what they're telling you, you know? Because I will tell you, yes, while I was in there, there was a handful of guys that they did have a wife, and they was literally trying to call me their wife. I didn't touch none of those guys except for two, unfortunately. There was two that I did actually mess around with out of a handful that I actually did mess around with, and only one that I actually really, really regret. There was a guy who had the one that I really, really regret is the guy who had a pregnant wife, oh my gosh, who used to come and see him twice a week because he was in the trustee pod. This was at the jail before I went to prison. He was in the trustee pod, and in the trustee pod, part of the perk of getting into that pod was that you could get visits 2 times a week instead of 1. This woman, this pregnant woman, was coming to see him twice a week. I couldn't believe it. But you know, I mean, on the one hand, I feel a little bit guilty because he was really good looking. And I didn't know this when I seduced the shit out of him. But I did seduce him. It did happen, you know. And then later, when I found out what his backstory was, I definitely felt terrible, you know, and I wish I hadn't have crossed the line like that with him, but I did. And then the other person was with somebody while he was trying to get with me, and I wouldn't. And then later, when they were really having like a lot of problems and stuff like that, I did end up kind of messing around with him, and then they ended up breaking up anyway, because he said that she was out there doing the most, you know, on him. So I guess he was just trying to get backs. But all the other people, I never messed around with because I don't like it. But I do know that it does exist, okay? But for those of y'all that are steadfast in believing that your man, your family, whoever steers clear of us nasty homosexuals, us gross, disgusting homosexuals, well, you can sleep well at night and knowing it's probably true. Because I came across 2 types of people. The guys that didn't want nothing to do with me, and literally I had guys throw me out of the cell. I had guys tell me that I can't sit at certain tables. I had guys tell me that I'm not allowed to use certain phones. I had somebody actually hang the phone up on me while I was on the phone with my mom, and that's the one and only fight that I actually got into while I was at the jail. Yes, your boy Lucky got into a motherfucking fight because you're not gonna hang the phone up on me while I'm talking to my mother, okay? My mother. And my biggest concern out of that was, what is to stop this man from doing it again? He clearly only did it because he thought that I wouldn't do anything, you know, that I'm just some silly little faggot, and I'm just gonna, you know, just not do nothing about it. Like, so now what is to stop him from doing it again, just for kicks, for shits and giggles, you know? So I had to straighten that shit out, you know, and that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did, and I will stand by it, whether you believe it or not. But I did. I got into one fight while I was locked up, and it was because of that. Because the guy hung the fucking phone up while I was talking to my mama. And you ain't gonna do that, okay? But other than that, I have been intimidated by other people. Yes, with the person that didn't want me by sitting at a certain table, I got myself wrote out of the pod. Hightailed it, or no, what's the expression? Hightailed it out of there, okay? And then with that was with the tables. The guy who's like a Mexican MS-13 gang member who said I couldn't sit at this table, and I got the hell out of there. I actually used it as an excuse to get out of that pod because I didn't want to be in that pod anyway. And then I was in another pod where me and this tranny that I was in the cell with, the gang members wouldn't let us use certain phones, and we couldn't use certain showers. And I didn't use the showers that they said that we couldn't use, and I didn't use the phone that they said that I couldn't use. And then there have been tons upon tons of times that guys would not let me into the cell. Housing would always assign me to gang members as my cell partners. Why? I really don't know. Because they're ridiculous, you know? Because it's just, the system is designed to fuck you over, especially the homosexual. But for whatever reason, I was constantly assigned to gang members. I don't know why. But each time that I would get into the cell and I'd have my stuff, the people wouldn't let me in. There was a couple of times that I would try to stand my ground, but I'd be drenched in sweat just by the mere conversation of them flipping out like, oh no, you can't stay in here. Hey, yo, they got a wild one up in here. No, you gotta get out here, yo. I'm sorry. I don't have no problem with y'all people, but you can't stay in here. No, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was very frightening. Very frightening. So if that's your brother that you're defending, your boyfriend that you're defending, you can keep that motherfucker. I don't want him, okay? So don't worry about it. I was not messing with nobody like that, okay? So you can have your defensive comments like you have, and rest assured, yeah, he probably not messing, at least not with me, okay? But then the truth of the matter is that you have a lot of guys in there that do obsess over the homosexuals. There are no women, people. Get it through your mind. There are no women in prison. So I don't know where people get this crazy idea that now a feminine guy is suddenly just like, alienated. Absolutely not. You have the people that want nothing to do with these homosexual people, and then you have a large group of people that obsess over these type of guys, and it's actually sadly by accident. It's not even on purpose. It's just the act of nature, because you have been locked away for 10 years, 11 years. You haven't, and everybody in there sounds the way that I just was sounding, macho, and they got this, alpha male type attitude, testosterone, want to, dick measure each other, and then you have somebody like me that comes in, and I got this soft voice, and I'm very kind, and all of these things. I'm not trying to headbutt you or anything like that. I'm trying to actually, get along with you, which is not typical man-to-man behavior. Yeah, these people, suckers, fall head over heels for it, and it just naturally happens. They don't even mean for it, but it's just because of the situation. It's just a situation. Some soft energy person, soft voiced person with feminine mannerism. They haven't seen that type of action, that type of behavior, I guess, behavioral, mannerism in years. Yeah, it really messes them up. And for somebody like me, it is so exhausting. It's so exhausting because it happens from one person to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. That's why you have a lot of gay people behind bars that end up becoming one or two ways. Just the same way as you only deal with one or two people, or one or two types of people, because you deal with a hell of a lot more than one or two. But they all are the same. Either they want nothing to do with you, or they become extremely obsessed over you. It causes the homosexual to become one or two ways. Either an outright slut, just a slut, or they become like how I did, very isolated and antisocial. And I'm not the only one that's like that. That's the typical cases. They just don't talk to anybody, That was me. I became glued to Cam. I only talked to Cam every single day, only spent time with Cam every single day, and I would get on the phone to call my mom once a day, every day. That was it. That's it. That is the type of guys that you come across, and that's just the way that you become, So yeah, let me wrap this up, y'all. Oh my goodness. But it was very exhausting. And the only other final thing that I'll just make about this point, that I'm actually going to make a whole video on this one, but is the crazy thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is because of this way that people are with the gay people in prison, it actually makes gay people superstars in prison. And I'm sure you're thinking okay, now you're doing too much. I'm serious, because even if you're a guy that wants nothing to do with homosexuals, it still makes the person want to know everything about that homosexual, so this way they avoid that person. They want to know what pod they're in, what cell they're in, what do they do during the day, do they have classes, where do they work, or something like that. It makes them a conversation piece because they're trying to avoid this person. They don't want to come in contact with this person, so they try to know where they are, this way they don't cross paths with them. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the other people that are obsessed with homosexuals, so they actually go out of their way to try to, you know, make sure that they figure out some way to intercept, you know, with the homosexual, with the gay person. It's like, and it just makes it so tiring, because there's a ton of it, even to this day. I am still obviously with Cam. We talk on the phone every day. There are so many times that Cam will be telling me, oh, so-and-so said hi, so-and-so, do you remember so-and-so? Or so-and-so said that they know you, you know, from whatever. I'm like, Cam, I don't know who the hell this person is. I don't know who this person is, you know, but it's like, you'll have an entire compound know who you are because of your sexual orientation, and you don't know anybody else. Like, you only will know the 3 people that you've actually spoken with, but you have no reason to know everybody on the compound. But it's like, but they all know who you are. It's like, oh my gosh. So then anywhere you go, in the chow hall, to church, the library, to class, to the gym, the rec yard, to work, anywhere that you go, you have eyes on you, watching you, you know, and then you have people reporting back to saying what you did and who you talked to and all of this stuff. And then of course that starts rumors and all of this nonsense. It really, really is exhausting. Okay. Okay, y'all. Well, I'm done. If you want to hear more stories from, like, you know, my personal journey, I have some prison diaries that I retyped and I have published on Amazon. I have like several different entries, and then I have like a little book that I made, but I'm trying to get a large volume of these entries retyped into a big book, you know, that I can sell. But you can go check out those prison diary entries on Amazon, or you can check out my playlist from when I used to read the prison diaries. All the links are in the description, so yeah. Don't forget, if you like this video, please like it, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, all of that jazz. I love you so much, and I will talk to you in my next video next time on Lucky After Dark. Bye, you guys.